Is the tutorial for this activity, modelling and simulation. So we're going to try and use as much of your skills and knowledge from other subjects as possible. So you may already know lots of things about gravity and so on to do with our solar system. So like a few of our projects, we have a starting point, but we've also got an example this week so that you can visualize exactly what we're looking to create. So we see a very basic model of the solar system where we have the different planets. We can see the moon is orbiting the Earth, and we've got the Earth more orbiting this yellow blob, which is fantastically drawn, which we can assume is the sun. And that's really the basic level of what we are looking for today. So if we look, we've got the starting point here. If we click that open, it will load here, which I've already done. Remember to click remix so that you get your own copy of the project, and you can see that Earth is not really drawn fantastically well, and one of the problems is drawing it. If we draw it a bit too big in the scale and so on, so there will be things that aren't fantastic, but it will work quite nicely. We can see on the sun sprite there's no code. Earth's got a little bit of code, which I'll just clean up so we can see it a bit easier. And we can see on backdrops, if we go there, there's this blank backdrop which we don't actually need. So there's not much there. So let's get a look at what we've got to do. So we need to look at the X and Y coordinates and the size of the sun versus the Earth. So we can see that there, that we've changed the size. We can see the 50 here. The direction is not too important at the minute, but we can see the X coordinates, 25 and 50, versus the sun, which is 0, 0, which is at the origin. It's at the very center of the stage. And both of the sprites' size has been reduced. So when you're drawing sprites, if you go in here to costumes, really important, it's hard to see, but it's drawn right in the middle, and we can see that little crosshair there that tells us that it's drawn in the middle, and the same with this one. So if you draw other sprites and they're not quite in the center, you'll get some strange effects. So that's for the next planets. So coding the spin of the Earth, let's look at the code here and try and figure it out. So this is for the Earth, and we've only got 5 blocks. The when start clicked forever, which obviously works all the time when the program's running. We want the sprite to go to the sun, which means it very quickly jumps right on top of the sun, turn 1 degree, and then move 56 steps away. Now the 56 steps is just a choice to move it away. You could have it less or more, but it depends how big you draw your planets. What's really important here is the fact that we're making it turn 1 degree. We know that the Earth takes 365 and a little bit extra days to orbit the sun. So we divide that by 365 days to get the number 1. So for example, Mercury takes 88 Earth days to orbit the sun. So the mathematics to get that is 365 divided by 88. And one of your jobs will be to research how long it takes for other planets to rotate around the sun, so you can do it. So let's go fix this now. We can do go to sun, and you see with just that code there, it just pops right onto the sun. We can put in the math, 365 divided by 365. You can see just those 2 pieces of code. You can actually very slightly see the the Earth moving now, but with the 56 steps, it's just very quickly jumping back and forward to the screen to update its position. Now, the reason it's going to the sun is because the Earth orbits the sun. So when you're doing the moon, be careful what you make it move to. Now, the next part will be using randoms and if statements to give us facts about the Earth, which you can put in and copy. So we've got that assigned to the E key. So if we build that very quickly, just so we can see how it works. So we want to do when the E key pressed. We can see again that we're using this pick random. We've already got a variable in here called choice, which you could choose 1 to as many facts as you want to display. I'll just do 1 to 1 and just demonstrate a fact really quickly. So I want to get my if statement there, and we want to check if the variable, and I'm just remaking what's on the screen, if the fact's 1, then we can go to looks and say Mr. McAlpine knows nothing about the Earth. And now when the program's running and we press E, we can get some random facts and add a little bit more interactivity to our program. So you can do more than 3 choices if you wish, or if you know another better way to do that, then that's great. Now that's really it for the tutorial. There are some challenges and examples here. People have made fantastic examples after adding in all the planets, which I will do a quick demonstration. And maybe we could even add in citations to say where we get our facts from. So if we want to draw Mercury, if we just go to the cat sprite and paint, all I'm going to do is draw. I could maybe use my internet research skills to figure out what sort of colour Mercury is. I'm just going to draw a really small circle right in the middle there, and when you're drawing you can see it snap, and you can see it's huge. So let's make it 30%. Let's even make it, Command Z to undo that. Let's make it 20. Let's give it a name like Mercury. And looking at the code earlier that we had, let's see if we can remember. We want it to do when start clicked. We want to get a control and say forever. We want to go motion. We want it to go to the sun sprite. We want it to turn a certain number of degrees and then move away. So let's maybe make it move 30 away from the sun. And we saw that it was 365 divided by 88, but we can't do that here without the math. You could use a calculator to do it if you wanted, but I'm going to make mine do it for me. 365 divided by 88 and run. And we can see that it's going to obviously go a lot faster. Now what would make this more interesting is if we got facts on Mercury, and if we look back at some of the next challenge tasks and ideas, anything that you can come up with that's imaginative would be fantastic, and this is the very basic aim of what you are looking to produce. So make the basic part work and then impressive with your creativity.